got some fun stuff to play with today.
We do. Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Um, I mean, I went and hung out with some family. And I crocheted. I didn't sew, but it was a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Took a nap.
I mean, having an afternoon nap and as an adult is a really nice thing.
I mean, you can't knock a nap, right? That's a bonus day right there.
Something about being out of your 20s, anytime you're out of your 20s, like
And
taking a nap.
Get a nap. It's like bonus.
Right. It's no longer punishment.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Right.
Check.
Hello.
But yeah, no. How about you?
What did I do this weekend?
Exciting.
We did. Yeah, we're residing the house. That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Are you supervising?
You know, I'm happy to be at work today.
Understood.
So Dave is at home and he's working hard on the house, and I'm happy to be working. That is for sure. So
and not on the house.
And not on the house. I do not have to help. So I'm not upset about that. It's all on the base of the house, so there's no ladder work involved at this point. So if he were to fall, he would just be tripping over his own feet, not falling off the ladder. So I'm comfortable with him, being there.
Home alone. Yes.
We've been we made several trips to Menards this weekend because we picked a gray stone and it has like almost some onyx colored pieces in it. But then Dave brought home some siding samples to go above that, and he brought home blue grays, and this is a green gray. And so I was like, this isn't gonna work. And he's of course like, what do you
Gray?
And I'm like, oh no. And so he's like, we have to pick. I'm like, well then we have to go back, and you have to let me pick the samples because this isn't going to work.
I'm not from this.
And so he really did not get it. And then when I found the right one and I put it up there and then I put the other one next to it, he's like, oh, I see it. Because in his mind, it's gray, So I'm like, oh no, it's like thread, it's the wrong shade. There's the wrong hue in there. You are echoing. That's fantastic. Okay. So I really like having microphones. Let's try that. Any better?
Hopefully, because, there's only so many buttons we can click.
Yep, I only have 2 buttons. So, yeah, that was fun. But now we have picked out the siding, and we are excited about moving along with it. But
very nice.
Yeah, so that's what we did. Several trips to find the right gray.
Jeff has been buying.
Much better. Okay.
Excellent.
Great.
The front sidewalk has like this flower bed that goes along it. And originally I planted things in it. We tore out what there was originally in it because it was way overgrown and it was crazy. A lot of phlox, which is pretty, but it was like way too much. And so we pulled it all out and we've tried planting new ground cover type stuff and nothing took. So it's just been like this patchy yuck because nothing's really grown. So we said, okay, enough of the ground cover BS. We're gonna, just plant some real plants, and it's coming together quite nicely. And we've got some lavender in there that's supposed to keep the bunnies from eating
all the rest of
all of the rest of the things that are in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty to boot. So there's some
hummingbirds.
Jeff really likes his hummingbirds, which I don't understand where the 6'3", almost 300-pound man just loves these little tiny birds.
He really
so it's
likes
just
them.
like,
Yeah.
where did you pick that up? Because that's totally new. But so anyway, so we've got hummingbird feeders. He bought a second bird bath and put that in there. And so we've got 2 bird baths, one at the end and one kind of in the middle. And we've got hummingbird plants that plus hummingbird feeders. And now we have the bird baths, and it's like, oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And then he's got his bird feeders, regular bird feeders out in the tree. And they're funny to watch because they literally kick it out to feed all of the whatever that are on the ground. And then, we've got bunnies and squirrels and a menagerie of random
Right.
whatnots, and they all just have a heyday.
Yeah.
Our ducks we've had 16 ducks in the yard
You got
at one
your ducks
time.
in a row?
They were all in a row, and now there's baby ducks also following. So there's families of ducks walking around in the front yard, and it's just like absolutely crazy. They go from the pond to this tree, and they'll
Yeah.
all eat, and then they're very entertaining to watch. But
We have a lot of hay that grows in varying places because the farmers around the area. So
Yeah.
there's no matter where I go, there's like a sprout of alfalfa coming up
Yeah.
someplace. The bunnies love that. So they've been eating it. They munch. It's kind of like watching Bugs Bunny eat his carrot. They
Yeah.
start chewing on the one end
Yeah.
and they just chew it all the way down. It's really cute.
That's
But we've
funny.
got a bunch of little babies out there. So that's my entertainment while Dave's making bad words.
And this is all right out the front the front window. So the dining room with the big double wide big window, and he just stands there. Don't come by because sometimes it's in his underwear. He just stands there. It's like you don't want to look in. So just be careful. I've warned all of you, but he's just standing there,
Just hanging out, watching the birds.
just watching all of what's going on, and I'm like, you're weird. I just keep going. He's like, well, don't you just watch? Because a lot of times I'll sit at the dining room table on my computer, or if I'm doing embroidery whatnots on my programs and things, I'll sit at the dining room table, but I'm at the end. So I can't, I literally have to,
look
look
right.
around because I can't see that tree that has all of the stuff going on. And I'm like, no, I can't see it from where I sit. And he's like, oh, you should move places. And I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
Yep.
But anyway.
So I'm not sure if Miss Marilyn is watching today, but I did send her an email, but she sent us
she sent us some cookies.
and they are adorable and they're yummy.
Yummy. So thank you so
thank you
very much.
Yes.
But happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
So today's Sarah's birthday, and
It is.
she's going to be here tomorrow because
Yes.
I'm not going to be here, but then she's going to ditch us for a few.
Yeah, technically I'm taking Friday and Saturday off, and then we're closed.
And then we're going to be closed
Monday and Tuesday.
So.
I have a few days off.
Got a nice little vacay.
I'm really hoping Dave makes good progress today and tomorrow, so that means I don't have to help. But apparently we're having our sump pump? The tank at the outside. Apparently they're gonna come and empty and clean it. Yes, on Friday morning.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
No, not really. You'll be here though.
Yeah, no, that's Friday.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
Friday. Sorry.
I
Yep,
won't be here.
Wrong day.
No, I was hoping
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't even know if we have to be there. So we've already they already have my credit card.
I say there's nothing that you do in general. I mean,
Right.
that's just something that
They will probably help
they
the
come out
others.
they come out with the truck and
Yeah,
do their thing.
supervise.
So yes, that would be another
Yeah,
stand back
with
and
his
stare at him.
inspector shirt on. I'm
Inspector
sure.
shirt, yes.
Inspector Dave.
Inspector Dave. Inspector Gadget.
This is completely off topic, but have you ever seen those like memes online that are like the Chinese knockoffs? So there's Dove deodorant. The deodorant is called Dave.
Have not seen that one.
It's just Dave.
Story real quick. When I went to Japan,
Yes.
a man came off the train, and he had a shirt on that had "It's always bigger in Texas."
Yes.
But instead of Texas, it was a picture of Delaware. And I died.
So Tucker said when she was in Japan, a guy got off the train and he had a shirt on, and it was supposed to be like, everything is bigger in Texas, but instead of the Texas outline, it was Delaware. And she knows this because she's from there.
She's
so
from Delaware.
She would recognize that.
And you can fit 232 Delawares into Texas.
And you can fit 232 Delawares into Texas.
That's just a couple.
I didn't know that math, but
The things you know if you're from Delaware.
that is right.
But I didn't have the spoons for that. So
Oh, thank you guys for all the birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate that. So, should we
Yep.
talk about?
But I'm still older. Dang it.
Yeah, even today, even though
Still
we're
older.
not quite the same age.
Can't quite get
no
rid of
one
that.
would know. No,
Can't quite get rid of that. But yeah.
I know I'm still
So-
older than Dave, no matter what happens.
And Jeff is still older than me, so I always have that. All right, so today we are going to talk about heat transfer vinyl. So I love heat transfer vinyl, whether it is to actually iron it on a shirt or whether it is using it in an embroidery hoop. It is so much fun to use and it's so easy to use. It is such a fun product. So today we're going to be playing with glitter heat transfer vinyl.
Yes.
Because it's probably one of my absolute favorite types of heat transfer vinyl.
Do you want to show the couple different vinyls on the other camera?
You know what? Yeah, you can bring that one over too. We didn't grab that particular one. It's the same kind of type as one of these, but so we've got the type that we sell from like no brand, if you will. And we sell this in a 12-inch section. And depending upon whether you buy the glitter, which is what this is, or whether you buy, let me see if I can widen and zoom. Nope, I'm out as far as I can go. All right. Oh, but it did change. I just wasn't looking when it changed. So warning to everyone, I might have drank a little bit of Mountain Dew today.
And then had cookies.
And had a little bit of cookies because I ordered Sarah some cookies. So
we got cookies
I'm
2 times today.
I'm a little.
So she's talking too fast.
I'll try to keep it.
You'll have to replay this on slow.
I'll try to calm down. So this is our glitter heat transfer. This particular type comes in a 12-inch by 20-inch piece. And that is our glitter. And then we have Kimberbell glitter. So you can see that the colors here are pretty close. So we've got lots of colors. So does Kimberbell. And theirs is a 7.5 by 19.5. So shorter, but approximately the same length. Ours is, unfortunately, just went up in price. We were around 5. We're going up to 7. But still
almost half price.
Almost half price. This is $12.50 for that 7.5 inches. So again, ours is still really great in a value from that perspective. Those are both iron-on. So those both have a fusible aspect to them. We also have the Brother from the Scan and Cut. And this is a 12-inch by 36 inches. So you've got a yard in there, and this one is more expensive. This one doesn't happen to have a sticker on it. Isn't this like $22? Is that about right? This one doesn't have a price on it. Tucker's going to grab that. But this, and again, different colors are available in there. This is a 1 yard by that 12 inches. So 36 inches there, and that one is a little bit more expensive, unfortunately, but I don't remember how much it is. She's going to let us know. That is also iron-on. This one here is another kind of vinyl. It is super sparkly, super awesome, but this is sewing vinyl. This is not an iron-on. So we've got a lot of different types that are available. 25? So the Brother vinyl for the yard is $25. So that is, again, super nice there, and lots of different available options. Some sewing, some heat. All really pretty.
All really pretty, yes.
All right, so we've got some pieces here that we're going to play with today. It is also available in non-glitter. So if you want to iron on something that doesn't have the glitter, we certainly have that as well in many different forms. We're just going to play with glitter today because we can.
Yes.
And we like glitter.
We love glitter.
We like glitter. I mean, it's just so much fun to play with. So, iron on is called heat transfer glitter vinyl.
Because of the heat.
Because you iron it in place. So depending upon the type, it's going to probably be, and if you buy ours, we have a little paper guy in here that tells you, and that's going to be about 300 degrees for 10-ish seconds. And then there's different peels. So you either have a hot peel or you have a cold peel. What that means is the plastic carrier that comes with all of these types, do you wait until it cools down or do you peel it when it's still hot? That's hot or a cold peel. So definitely need to know that because it makes a big difference. If you try to peel something hot that says cold peel, you'll probably end up peeling up whatever you're trying to iron down. It will come right back up right away. Trust me, it doesn't work. Ask me how I know. I make the mistakes so you don't have to.
Very particular.
It is very particular. So, for instance, holographic and foil have a cold peel. And if you don't wait and you're like, I just can't, you know, I don't have the patience. I got to peel it up now. I want to see if it works. I want to see what it looks like. When you go to peel, it stays stuck to the carrier. And so you might get bits and pieces that stay, but it stretches. And then you like, oh, that was really bad. I should have followed the directions because now I screwed that up big time. So definitely follow that peel instruction because it really does make a difference. So definitely follow that instruction. And if you're buying ours, there's a little card in there that tells you what to do.
And most of the time, if you're buying a version of it,
it'll have
some sort of instruction about it, especially if it's intended to be.
If it is intended as an iron-on vinyl versus an in-the-hoop product,
right,
it will absolutely have ironing instructions.
Sometimes we use this interchangeably with our fabric all the time because of the ability to get really creative glitzy things, but because you can fuse it down, it becomes permanent in there afterwards. But we're going to show you some of our favorite tips for when we use that for embroidery to make cutting it out, because as much as we think everyone should have a scan and cut or a cutting tool like this, we know that not everybody does have one.
No, and you may still want to play with this stuff.
Exactly. So you can use it in your embroidery.
And we do know that a lot of you guys that watch us do have the embroidery machines, whether you have a scan and cut or not.
Right.
So we're going to show you a couple different ways to play with it and some tips in making sure that you do the right things when you are playing with it, depending upon how you are using it.
Exactly.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start with the scan and cut.
All right. So on the scan and cut, I have, again, 2 pieces here, and we're going to basically show you the right way and the wrong way. I'm going to start with the wrong way because
everybody starts with the wrong way.
Everybody starts with the wrong way. This is literally what happens to all of us. I could actually do this 3 times because there's a couple wrong ways.
And upside down and right side
so
up, right?
When you cut, this is the pretty side, right? So this is what we want to cut. That's what you think. That's what your brain is you're gonna want to, this is what I want to cut. But that's not actually what you want to cut. You actually need to turn it upside down. So the pretty side is what is going down on your mat because this is what you're cutting. The clear over here is actually your carrier. It's your transfer paper. So that's going to be...
Explain what transfer paper is. People who, maybe if you don't have a scan and cut, you don't know what that is.
So transfer paper is, once I have cut it, it's going to be the carrier to get my design to wherever I want to iron it.
Right. So if you've ever done regular like applique and you've cut out shapes and you've got 3 individual letters, and now you have to draw all of your lines to keep them lined up.
Yep, you got to draw a straight line so that the bottom of the letters are all in a straight line.
Yes.
The same thing happens when you cut. If you don't have the carrier, you don't have any way of keeping them aligned when you go to move them into the correct place.
Right, you'd have like 3 individual pieces that you're trying to line up.
Exactly. So I've gone really crazy. I typed the letters iron on. I know, it's crazy, right? And I've got them right over here on this side of my mat. And I did that because that's where the camera is.
Yeah.
You know, I could only fit the scan and cut in one place.
Yeah.
So I had to get really creative, right? So I'm going to just stick that down. And again, the shiny, pretty side
is down.
Is going on the mat, and the dull side, this is actually the part that has the adhesive. When I go to actually press, this is the part that's going to actually stick to whatever I'm pressing it onto. So I'm just going to slap that on here, and I have my design. It says iron on. I can see that on my screen. And I've got this flipped so that the pretty side is down. And on my scan and cut, and I know you can't see the screen, just bear with me, I'm going to tell it to cut. And I am going to turn, because I'm using a DX model, I'm going to turn my half cut feature on, which just means it's only going to cut the colored part. It's not going to cut that transfer part. So that is also a mistake some people make, is they cut all the way through. We don't want to cut that clear part because we need that to be solid. You'll see when I weed it exactly what I mean. It's a lot easier to see it than it is to understand it, just me saying it. But I've got it ready to cut here. So it thinks I've got a different mat. Yeah, I changed that beginning. Guess, here we go. Try that again.
Sorry, I was cutting on the long one first.
I know, but I changed it somewhere. I changed it at the very beginning, but that's okay. All right, so with our DX machines, the blade is going to do a test up at the top of the mat, which is where there's no product, and then it's going to go to where my stuff's at, and that's how it knows how it does its own test, which is why I don't have to do a test anymore. So it is going to cut my letters that say iron on, and then I'll be all set. All I have to do is weed that, and I'm ready to go. It does pretty quick. The whole cutting is going to be less than a minute now, so it shouldn't be very much longer, and it's nice and quiet, which is also one of the really nice things about our new DX machines. Is I can have this conversation with you, and the machine is not going doing that while I'm trying to have the conversation with you.
Yeah, it is definitely a very quiet machine. Our rollers are getting a little dusty, aren't they?
Our who what's?
Our little rollers.
They are, yes. So one of the things that I always like to do, and I didn't bring like any tools over here because I was totally prepared, is I like to check before I lift off the mat. Dun, 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 dun. Let's try this
Do you want us
as
to
a
get you
tool.
your tools?
Could you give me a hook? Because this just... So if I can peel that back, I can see that I got a cut. Thank you so much. That will help so very much. So I'm like, great. I got a good cut, which means I can peel this off the mat. So I can peel all of this excess away. This is the act of actually weeding. And there's, got a little bit in between, got the insides of the letters, and I can read the word iron on, right?
Yep. Which might be a problem.
Well, wait a minute. That's how I need to iron it on. That might be a little bit of a problem.
Yes.
So if I go to iron that on now,
You'll have to read it in the mirror.
you're going to have to carry your mirror around. So this is the most common mistake
Yes.
when people start using heat transfer vinyl in their cutting, is they forget to mirror image their design.
Yep.
And words, names, logo, whatever's, that is probably the most commonly used heat transfer whatever. And so obviously it makes a big deal if we forget to mirror image that. If we're just doing a football or basketball, it's not the end of the world if we forgot. But obviously this is going to make a big difference.
Yes.
So I need to fix that. So to do that, I need to go into my editing. I simply go into the edit screen, object edit, and I mirror image my design. There's a button that does that for you.
It's like two triangles
That
facing
point one
inside
another.
with a line in between.
It's literally a line with an arrow pointing this way and an arrow pointing that way, and it automatically flips. That's all you have to do. If you have more than one design on screen, you will need to tap each individual design. If you've grouped them, then they will all go together. So my letters are all grouped, so I don't need to.
So now we're going to cut it the right
So
way.
now you will be able to see what it's supposed to look like. All of my settings are the same. It cut perfectly well. I just didn't do my job right. So now I'm going to let that cut again. And so this is going to do everything that we just did here,
but backwards.
but it's going to hopefully do that backwards so that when I reverse it to iron it on, it's going to come out so I can read it on my shirt or whatever it is that I'm putting that on. Iron-on vinyl can literally be put anywhere that you can heat. So I have attempted to actually iron onto glasses. If you have a curved heat press, so they make those now that are specifically for mugs, you can actually iron on to the side of a glass.
Right.
As long as you have a way to do that. I tried doing it with a small iron, like the little quilters one, like the tiny ones. It tends to, unfortunately, really heat, of course, the mug or the glass or whatever it is that you're doing, and it really hurts if you're, and it's hard to hold the item, and you got an oven mitt on, then you can't hold it, so you're like,
That makes
it's
sense.
very fumbly. So it's very difficult to do. Again, I do know that this is going to work, but I generally never lift anything off my mat without checking my cut. It's saved me from a lot of having to throw things away because it didn't cut well. So again, I'm just going to go through and weed. So here again, I need to pull out the centers. All right, and now I can actually read my letters. So when we go to actually put that on something, this is the carrier. So you can see that my letters won't move. They're going to stay in a completely straight line. So if we had a scroll design, if we had, hearts and flowers and petals and all these different things, they would all stay wherever they were put on the mat as we were cutting them.
Right.
So if I needed the word on somewhere else, I could cut that separately and place it in a specific place. But I never want to put my iron directly on the glitter. All right. The reason being is this will go right into that platen and it's going to melt and it's going to make a big mess. So you always want to have a piece in between your iron on and your iron itself. And you're just going to press. Again, it says about 10 seconds.
Sometimes it's really hard to be that patient, isn't it?
It is. Yep. Count in your head.
Sing the little birdie song.
Right. And then always, don't just whip it off. You never want to do that. Just go nice and slow. This is a hot peel. So I'm just going to gently, and I'm going on an angle. As you can see, I don't generally go straight. If you go on an angle, you generally get a better peel. And that came right off. If you have something that you're going to do in a hoop, don't throw this away. If you've peeled this off and you're going to need to come back and iron again, then you'll want to keep this because, again, you don't want to put your iron directly on that particular area. So if you're going to have to put something else, like I'm going to put a flower over here and I've got something there, I want to make sure that my iron's not going to hit that. So I can then put on my new whatever next to it, and I want to make sure that I'm not going to accidentally hit whatever that is. So if you're doing multiple layers or anything like that, you always want to protect your original pieces. Make sure that you're not going to touch those.
Yep. So
it's not a bad idea to hang on to those original peels of your transfer until you've finished your project, just to make sure that you're not going to
melt your
hit it and whatnot. Now, that being said, you can layer. They don't generally recommend that you layer glitter on top of glitter or have anything on glitter. However, we'll just, for kicks and giggles, you can see that you can press directly on top of heat transfer. So if you have a multicolor design, you can do that. The glitter on glitter, there's actually a texture to it, so you won't get a smooth piece there, and that's why they tell you that. So there you go. You can see that that's all So I covered up my original to make sure that I wasn't hitting that with the iron.
Yep.
So you always want to protect your pieces on your fabric. So it's a great idea to hang on to these guys.
Yes. And so now if you want to use this stuff for a design and you don't have a cutting machine, we're going to show you how easy it is to...
You want me to cut that?
Let's see if I can.
I got these big old things I
You
can
do.
just chop.
All right. So we've got a little applique on here.
I tried, I don't know what that was.
The tail thread, I think, was
okay.
stuck on there.
I color sorted because I thought it would jump, but that's not what we wanted it to do. We might want to uncolor sort.
Do I have to go back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was hoping it would, but it didn't do that.
It's all good. All good.
So when we are doing this in the hoop, we have the same product. So this is literally another sheet. I literally cut that strip in thirds. It's the exact same thing. When we're putting this in the hoop, we want to separate this right off the get. But remember what I said, save this little guy here because we're gonna want to press to keep this permanently in place most of the time. Every once in a while, I do make a creative decorator's choice to not. What generally will happen is it will poof.
Yes.
So if I am using white glitter and I'm using it as the roof because I'm putting snow on the roof,
Right.
I generally don't fuse it because I want it to look poofy like, you know, fluffy snow. It's a decorator's choice. I don't do that.
Right.
So what we're going to do is lay this directly over our placement line, just like we would if this was regular fabric. Well, let's go.
So we're treating this just like fabric. We're just going on top of our applique.
Oh, I left a lot of room up there, didn't I? So you can see a little bit that there's color there. So we have the ability to trim this if we wanted, again, just like a regular fabric if we wanted. But there's a little trick. Is this gonna do a satin?
Yeah, but we can
Okay.
peel it off after the satin.
Yep. So this is literally going to stitch just like it would with regular, but we don't have to do anything until we're all done.
Yep.
So I realize it's pretty close over here, but just bear with. I got really, really close on there, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That'll be a little harder to pull.
Yeah, you might have to pull out your tweezers.
So we're coming to where you guys might be able
There
to
you
see a
go.
little bit better there. Sorry.
I should have moved to the T or the V.
Rotated it and put it over there.
Yeah.
That's right. You can see now.
And I have to fan myself with your book here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I turned it down when I was hot.
When you were hot?
Yeah, I said happy birthday and pushed the buttons. You didn't get that?
I did.
How's it going over there? Coming around. What was that? That's about third. Want the honors? Okay. Guess they're the same color. I wasn't expecting that.
Me either.
Okay. Interesting. So,
You want to do it on the other camera so they can see?
Kim?
Yeah.
All right. So, when we have we're just gonna,
As long as it's not the scan and cut, we're good.
right? I'm just gonna knock a few things down. All right. So you guys can see that a little bit better now, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So I am just going to tear towards my stitches. And look at how easy that comes away. And it's just that easy. So this is, was not expecting the whole,
The dot.
the period to stitch then. I literally did this like 30 seconds before we walked over here. So I did a lot of planning there, but you can see how simple that is. And it tears on its own. You have the choice of tearing after the tack down or after the satin. So it's totally up to you. So here we can go ahead and do the next guy there. Already got the fabric there.
Right?
Only got a little extra. So again, that's the, you know.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So hard
So
to get
that's
good help.
the tack down. So again, you could tear here if you wanted to. All right, but as you saw how easy it is with that satin stitch there, it kind of perforates as it goes. So the reason that that makes it so wonderful is this is a permanent fuse when you hit it. So once you have it all torn away, you don't have to do all the fussy trimming and everything. It's a very quick piece to use.
Yep. Do you want to do the rest?
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh.
Need
I meant to
need
hit
a
the foot up.
placement.
Yeah.
You want the placement line first?
Oh, heck. Just put it on. Let's just go for it.
Okay.
All right. So we'll
So
just
you wanna
let
hit
that
the
go.
mono? So this is just going to finish that out. It says HTV, which stands for heat transfer vinyl. So if you see that somewhere, that's definitely shorthand. A lot of places you'll see an HTV shorthand for heat transfer vinyl.
And then somebody else was calling one of our vinyls something else.
Pressure sensitive.
Yeah, which is what we call
the craft vinyl. And that's going to be basically a sticker.
Yep, so you probably
So
don't want to
That
applicate
is
with that.
not the same thing.
No, definitely
not
not
even
the same
close
thing.
to the same thing. So if you are looking at trying to do glasses and different things like that, I would recommend using the stickers, which would be, again, they're called something different by many different manufacturers. Sign vinyl, craft vinyl, pressure sensitive vinyls, all of those things. So pressure sensitive basically because you're pushing and that's how you're getting it to stay in place. You literally apply pressure to it and that's how it sticks. So that does not have a transfer on it. That you have to purchase a transfer separately. So you'd weed it and then you would apply the transfer with pressure. It comes up with the transfer. You move it to your cup, your wall, your sign, your whatever it is that you're using. You put it in place. You apply pressure again. It sticks to wherever you're moving it to, and that's how that works. It is not difficult, but is definitely very different from this. I don't know if we've ever really talked specifically about that here. Have we talked about that? I'm sure we have about something, but I can't remember now.
No, probably not.
Maybe not. Maybe that will be another week.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we have said before, when I'm using my scan and cut, until much more recently this year with our block of the month, I've used a lot of fabric with that. But prior to this year, I've done very little fabric cutting with my Scan and Cut. Very little. It's pretty much been paper and heat transfer. That's and craft. But it's mostly been for miscellaneous crafting, not for any type of embroidery for the most part.
But we have done a ton.
But you know, with all of the types of things that we've been doing this year, I've veered in another. So I mean, I've still done the other, of course. It's just been a lot of additional cutting. So there's been so many, you know, and they've made so many big strides in cutting fabric that it's so much easier.
We should show our pieces so they can see how you can like use it in something.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
there's also the wrapping one. This is just a ladder with what's supposed to be a quilt. Resting on the runs. And this month's blocks, we did the cutting on the Scan and Cut. So the fabric pieces and
You want to show on the
sure,
other one?
Yep. The fabric and the, oh wow, I'm zoomed in. Let's make that adjustment. So the glitter and the fabric was cut on the Scan and Cut, so you can see. And then this is the dress form, which has the black top and base that were the glitter heat transfer, and then the fabric. And behind the fabric, we used a product called Hot Fix, which is also a permanent fuse product.
So there's lots of ways that you can incorporate heat transfer vinyl in like a quilt, and it's soft. So
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's
very pliable and very easy to use.
Yep.
It's a great addition and kind of just gives a little glitz.
it
Everybody
definitely
needs a little glitz.
everybody needs a little bit.
All right, and
We
we're
are
almost
just a quick circle around
Yep,
here,
and then we'll show taking all that
almost
off.
there. And then again, when you're doing it in the embroidery hoop, there's not a mandatory fuse, but it will keep, if you do have a heavy satin stitch around the outside, I would recommend that you fuse, because what can happen, the reason that it's so easy to tear is because of all of it's perforating those edges. What do you think is happening on the inside?
Yeah, the exact same thing.
The same thing. So if we are having perforated edges out here, we're also getting perforated edges in there. So the smart move is to make sure that the vinyl is going to remain there through washes and whatever else you've got going on. So the smart move is, again, going to be to give that a permanent fuse. So remember I said hang on to your original piece. We know that is going to cover up wherever that went because that was there on the original piece. So you know that you're going to have a piece that's going to be large enough to cover. If you have multiple pieces, you had multiple coverings as well. Make use of those if you've got more than one thing happening in your hoop. So this is, again, one of our small, we've talked about these before. This is great for using in the hoop because it fits really well. I've also got that barrier between this and my thread, so I'm not directly heating on my threads either, which is also a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want to melt your polyester threads.
That's no fun.
No.
Oh, I forgot to tear off that little bit. That's okay. This isn't going on any project. So there you go. And then again, we can just peel that off. And what you need, my dear? There you go. So that is, you can see where the iron was sitting, but
Yep.
there you go. What? Yeah, that's on there. It's not going off.
Nope, it's fusible.
It's fused.
Permanent.
It's there. So that is a couple ways that you can use that heat transfer, and just again so that you can see this as well. You can see that that is that layered bits in the center. So it's not that you can't do that, but do remember that if you're trying to get a really smooth piece on top of, they always recommend that the glitter piece be the top layer, not the bottom layer, because you wouldn't get a smooth, you'd see the texture coming up through your other types of vinyl if you put that on top of the glitter. So you can still use it, but you wouldn't want to put a smooth glitter on, you wouldn't want to put a smooth vinyl on top of the glitter vinyl, because you would see that texture coming through, because you can feel, I mean, there's
definitely feel it.
It's not just a look, it's an actual glitter on there. So, but you can definitely layer.
Yeah. And, you know, just like when you're embroidering, if you have a really, really stretchy shirt and you put an entire, like if that had been solid and there hadn't been words in there, remember the place where you put your vinyl is not going to be stretchy. So you do want to be just like if you're doing an embroidery and you have stabilizer underneath there, you know, it's stuck
It stops
to the
it
shirt.
from stretching, and
Right.
which is the idea, but make sure that you pay attention. And if you do need there to be stretch after the fact, they make stretchable iron-on.
Yes.
We don't carry it on a regular basis, but we could certainly help you get it. But it is not what we have, and it's not any of the stuff that most people carry on the floor. You know, you couldn't walk in to Joann's, I don't believe, and just buy it, or, you know, and you'd have to specifically look for it and get that. So it is something that people make. It's out there. You can get stretchable vinyl, but it's not going to be your average thing that you would just go pick up. So
It's definitely not what we have, like you said, and it's definitely not Kimberbell. Their
No.
vinyl is not
definitely
stretchy.
not stretchy.
No.
So if that's what you need, we could help you get that, but
Yeah.
definitely not what you're going to just pick up somewhere.
Kind of goes with that whole plan your work your plan thing. So know what
Absolutely.
you're putting it on.
No, you know, fortunately, I was just making a sample and it didn't really matter, but
Right.
I had an athletic type t-shirt, which is extremely stretchy, you know, like the moisture wicking, and, you know, it had the curved shapes and whatnot. And I put the foil on and I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. And it was my size shirt. So I put it on and I was like, it didn't stretch. The shirt stretched.
But that little
the
spot
design
in the middle,
the
did not.
design didn't stretch with the rest of the shirt, so it didn't look so hot. So it looks great on the hanger, hanging here in the shop, but it will never be worn. So, and I, you know, just didn't think about it. I was just thinking about making a really cute sample, and yep. Make sure you know what's going to happen to that t-shirt. Do you need it to stretch? Make sure you know what you're putting on it. So
Absolutely.
makes a big difference.
All right.
All right. Is there any questions?
Everybody's
I love heat transfer vinyl, whether I'm putting it in the hoop
Yeah.
or whether I am ironing it on to clothes, bags. I have made wall hangings, really cute ones. You can ask my parents. They really like them. At least they pretend to. They put them up on their walls. So I think they like them.
my favorite is the glitter. You can never have too much glitter.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe you can, but I haven't experienced that
We
yet.
haven't hit that. Haven't hit the
hit the
threshold.
threshold yet.
No. Yeah, I used the metallic, and I used the glitter, and I used standard.
Yeah.
When I did the signs, I did, like, you know, happy summer, hello fall, whatever miscellaneous things, and I did a seasonal that had hearts, and it had flowers, and it had leaves and snowflakes and those kinds of things. So.
Kelly's in for the glitter too.
Hey, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
So.
She says you can
Yes,
have too much
she's,
glitter.
She's
Sam,
she's
are
not.
you sure you're Lisa's?
Yeah, she's got a lot of dad in there too. So
So she's watching the birds.
she's well, she's
Not
into
the glitter.
She's into the sports. You know, that's what she does for a living. So, but yeah, so it's She's not my kid on that one. That one's a dad's. That was definitely a. Oh, and see, my mom does love her wall hanging.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so I used a lot of the different heat transfer vinyls and made some, I think, pretty nice wall hangings. They're as tall as we are, and they came out pretty nice.
The holographic ones are really.
The holographic is a really cool. I mean, I don't know that it's something I would use on an all the time basis by any
if
stretch.
You were doing rhinestones, though.
But it
so much
looks
better.
like you're doing rhinestones. So instead of using actual rhinestones, so if you have a rhinestone design, you can cut the holographic heat transfer
Yes.
using a rhinestone design and then iron it on just a little circles. And it looks like
So much.
you put rhinestones on and it's like that and you're done.
Right.
You know, you just
There's
you're
no shaky.
you weed it, you're done weeding, and then
Yeah.
you iron it and you're done ironing them on. There's no transfer of the rhinestones. There's no I got to flip them all
Right,
over. There's
right.
no I missed one. There's no what did we used to call it? Rhinestone packs.
Yeah.
With all the little black circles from the template all over you, and so I love rhinestones, and I still do the templates. It's been a while since we've done an actual rhinestone class. We'll have to go back
We've
to
done a
doing
cheater
that.
one, yeah.
We've done cheater ones, but we haven't done an actual rhinestone class. It's been a little while. But the last one we did, we cheated. We did the holographic, but they're so cute.
They are.
And they're so fast.
They've been all over like Instagram and Facebook lately with people making them. And so I was like, oh yeah, I knew that before it was TikTok popular.
I did that. Yep.
We were
There's some
ahead.
designs on you can buy them on our website.
You can.
Yep, they're on our website.
That. Yeah.
I made a super cute Christmas trees and a pumpkin and the dandelion spray with like the petals floating away.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's the ones that are on there. So yeah, very cute. So that is holographic. So those are the ones that we have here. We've got the glitter, we have standard, we have holographic, and we have metallic, which is like standard, so it's smooth, but it has a sheen to the color. So it's not a flat color, it's got sheen.
I used that on my mixtape tour shirt, remember?
Yes, I made that too. It's all about who you know, isn't it?
It is.
It's good to have friends.
It's good to have friends.
It's good
who
to have
software.
friends.
Of course, now I have software.
Now you
so
have software.
Now,
so now
next
I could
year,
just
she's going to be like, do your own.
yeah, right. I was being like, you know how to do that. Step off.
One and done.
I already gave you those files. You can adjust them for the right year. No.
Oh.
But yeah, so heat transfer is a ton of fun. And we've got some more surprises coming up for all of you Black of the Month ladies.
We do. We've been
Just-
working on that.
just wait.
This has been a lot of fun. We should run this again, the Black of the Month.
We should, huh?
Yeah, because now we have all the files. It'll be so much easier the next time.
Okay. You told me I should beat you if you said that.
I know.
So we need to go now so I can beat her because I
This
can't do
is
that live.
How Stitcher's Garden ended up being more than once. When
So,
you get to the end, you're like, oh, I can do
She
this
seriously
again.
said, if I suggest we do this again, you need to beat me. So it is time for us to sign off so I can go find something to smack her over the head with. So thank you so much for joining. I hope that helped you guys find some new stuff to play with and
Thank
answer
you
any
for all
questions
the
that you
birthday
had.
wishes. Oh, wait, off topic. Do you have the tooth fairy
Pillow. Yes, we do. We can set you up with that. Shoot us an email and we will shoot you a invoice. We can certainly get you that. Not a problem.
All right.
Yep, you bet. I know
All right.
exactly which one you're talking about,
We
Shelley.
sure do.
Have a great holiday weekend because we won't see you guys until next week because we are closed Monday and Tuesday, which means we won't be here until next Wednesday from a online capacity.
True.
So
We'll be open Saturday, though.
we will be open
Come visit,
through Saturday. Tony and I will be here
Lisa
on
and
Saturday.
Tony.
So if you can't wait for that thread or you need bobbin thread or whatever it is to keep you busy and sewing through the holiday, we will be here Saturday till 3 o'clock. So not a second more. We're running away, but we will be here on Saturday. Otherwise, have a great holiday and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.